So welcome to module number 5. The focus of this module is on how you can mentor micro-entrepreneurs to have partnerships with companies or with local organizations. Starting with companies, in looking at partnerships, you want to understand the motivations on both sides. And in this case, the companies' major motivation in our experience is that they want to show that they are innovative when in comparison to their competitors. So like a restaurant, they produce food, etc., and the other ones also do that, but maybe they can start doing paired or product with an entrepreneur that does like a food walk or something like that. That way they can be featured in the media as being kind of an early adopter of some new trend. Another one is that with nowadays consumers, they are kind of socially conscious and environmentally conscious, but businesses often are doing what they can, but their margins are low, and so partnering with a micro-entrepreneur might help them look conscientious of like helping the local community or being greener if it's related to like sustainability or something like that. And so that's the kinds of things that in my experience makes companies want to partner with micro-entrepreneurs. And one of the things we've done and that I recommend is to plan an event or an experience or a product that is joint between the business and the micro-entrepreneur. So for example, visit a farmer and then go have a nice meal or something like that. I have some examples to share with you in a second. But to do that, you must understand the business model of that business. So for example, if a restaurant is full every Saturday night, it's not a good thing for you to propose something creative like that pairs with a Saturday dinner. But maybe like midweek they're kind of empty, and so that's a good time for them to create something that adds to their bottom line, that they will actually earn more income, have more visitors, and fill in an otherwise pretty sparsely visited night. So let me give you a couple of examples. One thing we've been doing a lot, or like periodically 2 or 3, 4 times a year, is to partner between a local microbrewery in Raleigh, Crank Arm, and a nearby farmer that produces the hops that they use on one of their beers called Wet Road IPA. And so Dan Gridley has a lot of pride in his farm and has a lot of pride of being one of the few hop producers in this region of North Carolina. And he wants to get visitors, but people just, that like beer, to go to his farm and just hear him talk and stuff, it's only mildly interesting. We haven't been able to sell that farm experience very often. But if we pair it with a brewery tour and then a tasting, then people are really into it because they really see like from the farm into their palate. And so we do that, and we try to find ways that we can do this in win-win. So Crank Arm, they want to showcase that they're really, local, and that they're not buying just hops from, the Pacific Northwest, like almost every brewery, in pallets and massively produced, but from a cool local beer lover and farmer. And so they send these event announcement and Eventbrite to their community, their database of fans and followers, their community essentially, and they also co-host it on Facebook with us. And Dan Gridley also co-hosts it. And so everybody's kind of sharing their excitement about this event, and it works really well. Another point is that it does need to make money for these companies. In this case, it generates the tours that this brewery has, but most people just go there, drink beer, and that's it. But, the brewmaster that is featured on that picture loves to geek out about his methods, right? And so he makes him feel good, and he generates extra income. I think personally generates a little bit extra income without burdening the brewery. So he goes there on a Saturday or Sunday if we give them enough time, and he's there, and he takes really good care of these guests, and he talks about his relationship with the farmer, and everybody wins. Okay? And so the other thing we do is that then you try to make sure the local authorities know, the local business community and the local leaders know that this particular brewery is collaborating with these farmers. Because this is kind of something that's regarded as good in the business community and in the economic development community, but few people do it. And so by partnering like this with these companies, then they end up looking good in the eyes of the leaders that influence their visibility of their business. Another kind of high-profile partnership is with Vivian Howard, and you may know her from TV and her show, etc. And then farmer Warren Brothers is on that picture as well, and he's on her shows, and sometimes, you know, barefoot walking around his fields. And so what we do with them is that they list these weekend packages that include dinner at the restaurant. And it also includes visits to the local farmers that supply their kitchen. And so Vivian Howard makes money because sometimes we even buy one of her books, and then when people arrive for the weekend, we give them a marker and the book as part of the price, and they get autographs from the farmers that they visit during that weekend. So it kind of turns it around and makes the farmers the stars of that experience. And so she doesn't have to do very much. She just accepts the reservations like if it was somebody else. She only promises that herself or some of her chefs will come to the table and talk to our guests about how they source locally and why their food tastes so much better because it's from local farmers. And so it's kind of a win-win situation. It works really well. So on to nonprofits and civic organizations, community organizations. What motivates them? Okay, so one of the things that motivates them is programming. Through programming, they are reaching the public, and they're fulfilling their mission. So if you come up with an interesting idea to extend it, make it more unique and crisp and interesting, they will be interested in it. They generally receive funds from the public government, from local government. So they are always trying to find ways to showcase their impact on the community. So if there's some local, if it's like related to the arts, if there's some artists that are benefiting and collaborating with them, they want that to be noticeable. So this is one of their motivations to partner with you. And money directly from potentially a joint event is not really that important. That's peanuts compared to how much, you know, they might sell 10 or 20 tickets, they make $10 a ticket, but then they're going to receive $2 million from the city to improve their facility, or donors, and those donors donate, you know, there's like donation campaigns for hundreds of thousands of dollars, so they don't care about these little things. They just usually don't want to lose money. You know, they just want things to be paid for, and that's it. And so what we want to do is to have them help us market. They usually have a really wide and very organized community engagement through communication machine. They might have a communications director. And then they plug in, you know, a web page description of this partnership into their communications or put it into their blog and stuff like that and get people know. So just like with companies, these marketing help is crucial, okay? But once again, you want to understand their model, their operating model in this case, you know, whether or not they need to make money, and mostly whether or not they're already really busy and they don't want to do something complicated that throws their normal operations for a spin. So a good example of that is partnership with Marbles. We partner with them by connecting some of their visitors with local farms and local artists. They have events where, you know, 20,000 people come. And then we try to help them capture 20 of those to go to do one of these guided experiences. So imagine, you know, that's not really, you know, the number of participants that buy these tickets with micro-entrepreneurs is not really the key thing. They just want to show that they collaborate with us, and we co-host events on Facebook, and then they can show their board members that they are collaborating with this initiative, that the city thinks it's important, and so they are allowing themselves to be an engine for other people to thrive that in a way that's related to their mission. In this case, it's for kids to not just go to the museum and try things and art things, and they have a garden and stuff, but also then with artists from the community and with farmers nearby the community. And then another example is with just these nonprofits. It's a tribal government from the Lumbee, but we work with other tribal groups, and they host an event where they hire some local cultural people to do cultural activities and some local river guides. And these tribes we work with, their name is related to the river that goes through their region. So the Lumbee, the Kohari, and a few others. And so they want to express what the meaning is of the river for them. And generally, these folks have their story being told by experts, instead of they themselves having the power to tell their story, as I've mentioned to you before with micro-entrepreneurs having that issue. And so what they want is to host people that are curious about them and engage some of their youth to make a little bit of money by giving river kind of ecotourism experiences or art experiences and cultural experiences, because they want their youth to think about like not leaving that area for a job, but staying there and keep perpetuating their culture. And so that their motivation is not necessarily money, because they also get grants, etc. It's more community engagement and this sharing of their ways. Okay, that's it for this module. These examples I gave you are joint events between micro-entrepreneurs and a local organization or a local company, and your assignment for this module is to come up with one of those also on Eventbrite for your client destination. So take this as an example for you. Thank you.